Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a CONMEBOL recap. Connor and I are going to be breaking down everything that went down in the eighth window, which sounds weird. It's match day 15 and 16 of CONMEBOL. Connor's upset because I'm wearing a Palmeiras jersey, but, I'm just trying to spread the love. And also my jersey collection's in a storage unit in an undisclosed location in New York. So I really don't have the range of options that I once had. So we're doing the best we can here. Also, this jersey for $30 was a steal, and I'll stand on that against anybody.
You could have a range of every single book I could ever released. You wouldn't wear a single one because you're filled with hate.
This is well documented on the channel. I have been searching everywhere. There has been no rock unturned for the 2022 Boca kit, one of the few that I think is pure heat, and I can't even find it.
Did you see the new ones?
Resales $400. No, I haven't seen the new ones. For next season? Or they're like wearing them right now?
I don't know. I haven't seen them play a game since I saw them released, but I believe they're for next season. Okay. They are so good. Good to know that you don't watch my Instagram stories either. Interesting.
You don't watch mine.
Are we friends? You don't post.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so no. You. This is misleading. This is misleading information here.
Too busy watching CONMEBOL, trying to prep for this episode.
Slander on my good name. Like I wouldn't watch my friends' Instagram stories. You see what I deal with here, folks? Not having this.
You know what? I'll check out. In honor of our friendship, I will look up Boca's jerseys as soon as we're done recording this episode. And if there's a yellow one, that is nice.
Why don't you do it now and we get a live reaction?
Okay.
Outstanding. Right, look at that. 2 videos in one. And look at his face of disdain. Look at the face of disdain that he has right now. Doing a small act of kindness for his friend of 20 plus years.
Okay, they're going a little retro on this one.
They're going very retro on this one.
I think the yellow one looks really good.
I think the blue one looks really good. I like the dark blue. Like this right here is it's a little too candy paint for my taste. I don't hate it. Like I like the jacket that you got me, but I think I was raised on like the Martin Palermo.
This is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
man, you didn't even check the one on my Instagram story. Do you follow me on Instagram? Is that why you don't check it? Because you unfollowed me?
Twice a week.
No. I'm not having this. A lot of things are making sense right now. A lot of things adding up. I ain't having this.
You mean the continued story that I don't use social media?
No.
I don't want the haters knowing what I'm doing, so I don't post. And I got haters all around.
This is a one-sided friendship. What's my middle name? What color are my eyes? You don't know.
If I didn't know your middle name, that would be quite
What's my favorite anime?
Hey, well, you mentioned something that's one-sided. How about Chile versus Argentina all the time?
Oh,
that's pretty one-sided.
Man, we getting right into it, huh? Yeah, we lost two really important ones, but I think we tagged them back. At this point, those games never even happened, basically.
Yeah, you did tag them back in a sense. I mean, the Chileans will go to the grave saying you didn't, but you did beat them 1-0 in Santiago, match day 15. We actually were on FaceTime together during this game. Julian scores in the 16th minute, his 4th goal qualifying. Funny enough, he actually scored in both games against Chile. I think 3 of his 5 GA in this cycle are in the 2 games against Chile. So he has animosity in his heart.
Well, he grew up watching that. That man grew up with hatred in his heart.
That's true. And it's probably the number one thing that's fueled him to success in the current era. I feel like when we were on the FaceTime, we both thought that Chile actually looked pretty solid, at least going forward.
They looked decent. Argentina looked shaky there at the end.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see a lot of that. This is a tale of every single team here, barring barring, I'd say, Brazil, look to be, I don't want to say suffering, but they look to be affected by the fact that we're coming up to the end of qualifying, whether that be good or bad. And you'll see that in some of my takes later, but I think everybody barring Brazil, and I think Brazil's, that effect on Brazil is negated by a new manager bounce, but we'll get into them. Chile, yeah, definitely knew that this was their last gasp, and they were getting after it. They were getting after it, and it coincided with Argentina looking a little too relaxed, and lo and behold, you get a bang in 30 minutes there at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think y'all should have won, but it probably should have been like a 2-1 scoreline. I think the Chileans deserve to get a goal in this one. And then I think, was it Nico Gonzalez or Giuliano who had like a terrible miss also late in the game for you guys? Like
Giuliano, I think.
Yeah, Giuliano. But we'll talk more about that, man. I mean, trust me, as an Atleti fan, I watched too much of that guy. You want to talk about carried by his last name? Goddamn. But anyways,
well, I got my opinions too.
You got your opinions too? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think he's good, yeah. You want to get into?
Here's the thing.
Just Giuliano?
I mean, yeah, part of the Argentina.
Was your one bullet point from the Argentina 1 Chile 0 game? You just had Giuliano out?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, actually,
I was like, damn, he wasn't that bad.
No. He was not that bad.
Right.
I wanted to kind of play apologist here. I think he's so close to being good. Like you look at somebody who is like turning into the finished product, like Almada, right? That dude is just coming into his own, like banging. And I'm sure I'll have more to say about him in the next game, so I'll save my thoughts for that. But he's looking like he's becoming a really tried and true player, and he's fitting the personality of the team. Like he's doing it. All the bullet points are done. He's not full form. I think the ceiling's way higher, but he's coming good. And it's looking really nice. I think we're seeing the start of something beautiful there. Giuliano is like, he got carried by an insanely high work rate, a lot of passion, his dad's last name, and everything else being decent. If the man had a finish or a cross or consistent pass, you give me one of those, that takes him to the next level. But he just doesn't have it yet. It's like so close to being there. He's like missing one key criteria. He wrote a banging essay, but he forgot 3 pieces of evidence. He's missing one. He got 2. He brought 2 to the table, missing 1. He brought steak and a salad. Missing the potatoes, missing the drinks, missing the good bottle of wine.
No flying afterwards.
No flying afterwards. No kiss goodbye. What is this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so what's the limit on the dinner if there's no flying afterwards? You're like capped at a 7 out of 10.
And that is the question that I'd like to ask. When do you leave the table? When do you leave the restaurant?
What point do I say, this is an outrage, and I leave?
At what point? Listen, at this point in the dinner, the steak's fantastic. The salad is decent, right? It's a serviceable salad. I'm getting thirsty. And frankly, if you miss one of those key components, that's a 3-star review on Yelp. And that's not enough for the champions of the world. And that's where I'm at about him. What did I actually write down? I said, when can we expect actual results from him? Because I'm cool giving him some time to develop, but with the amount of first-team football that he's getting, both at club and country, you got to expect, I think we got like maybe a 6-month countdown.
I think you're actually, for as little as you watch, no, I think you're spot on. I think next season,
I don't not watch.
Is kind of, I know, but I have to watch like every single grueling minute of some of these games, and then I talk about it on the Lengua de la Liga show, and I'm like, I'm not the Atleti guy who's like, dude, he's not a special player at all. You're right. Either he needs finishing, vision, crossing. If he doesn't develop one of those in the next year, he's just not a difference maker, and he'll never be one. He should never ever start for Argentina. He shouldn't be close to the starting 11.
He's a great impact player. You bring that work rate and that speed and the physicality in the last 20 minutes, real difference maker. But there's no guarantee that the crosses are going to be where they need to, that he's going to be able to see the guys that he needs to pass to. Or if you put him right in front of goal, like in this Chile game, then he's going to put it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Just too inconsistent to be an elite player. And we'll talk about the Colombia game too. He was not good against Colombia either. But to kind of put a pin in the donkey here for the Chile game, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm going to maintain, and maybe this shocks nobody in the audience who's been a DeadBall TV viewer for a while. This job is impossible.
Yeah.
The Chile job is impossible. These guys suck. They are really bad. I mean, when you look at just the performance against Argentina and some of the chances that they get, I mean, Gareca can't finish for the players. I have a similar sentiment about another manager we'll get into later. The Bolivia game, which we'll talk about in match day 16, the defending for the goal is like Texas high school level. What is Gareca? Did he game plan wrong? Should he have put another center back in the box? Or are his center backs just bad? And I think they're bad. I think this is the least talented team in CONMEBOL. I think Peru has more talent, marginally, certainly more fight than Chile right now. And
100%. Yep.
Staring into the abyss, man. Every single window and every single time we record one of these recaps, I just get more and more pessimistic about the future of Chilean football. I mean, I don't see where the light is.
And you have to. You have to. I'm still stuck. You know, Michael Talks Football did a really nice deep dive. I don't know how deep it was, but he made some really nice points about what's going on with Chile. And I think that the lack of prioritizing youth ball and just general cavalier attitude with which they've handled the federation since their golden generation has just been shocking. I think it all stems from the pandemic. I think they took a step back and then foot off the gas, and they never really made up ground. So they're sitting 2 years back from everybody else. It's brutal. They've got a lot of catch-up work to do, and, I mean, it's illustrated on Gareca's face. Gareca is a manager that can do a lot with a little. His last 2 appointments, including this one, have not been great, but there have been moments of brilliance. This was not one of them. Like, I think I'm on my VIX adjacent channel. Like, I couldn't really see his face because of the pixelations, but when he was heading back into the tunnel immediately after the game, mind you, immediately, his body language was just that of, like you said, staring into the void. Defeat. What can you do?
No options. He's sitting at the poker table holding 0 cards. 0 cards to play. And you know what? I'm going to even throw this out there. I almost wonder if this is partially the fallout of winning 2 Copa Americas with that generation. Where it's like these guys are, we talk about this in Mexico a lot, like the vacas sagradas, the sacred cows. I mean, bro, we still have Arturo Vidal starting in the midfield.
Yeah.
In 2025. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's because maybe a little bit of the Suarez thing too with Uruguay. It's like they're so iconic you can't drop them. Even if it's best for the future of Chilean football to not play these guys.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's Gareca's decision or if he's trying to play more younger guys. But if it's a bit of the federation getting involved and like, you're going to play Alexis Sanchez because he's still the face of this team. He sells tickets and he won us 2 Copa Americas. So you're going to play Alexis Sanchez. I just don't know how much interference there is in the FA there. I don't know enough about Chilean football to say so. But the only way forward was to throw this cycle. And I know that sounds crazy, but it was the truth. You were never going to qualify. So the only thing you could have done is play the young guys, try to finish in 8th, maybe go to the Intercontinental Playoff. That's a huge success. And you just blood everybody for the next cycle. That's what they should have done. But now they haven't. They're eliminated officially. And now I guess you got 2 games to bring up the next guys. And you know what? I'll be surprised if they do. I'll be surprised if we see a lot of new faces in the last 2 games.
Yeah, it's going to be a farewell tour. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, really bad for Chile right now. For the sake of time, let's move on to Paraguay 2, Uruguay 0. Some online were a little shocked here that Paraguay got the win, but I just didn't see any chance of an Uruguayan victory here. I have a couple bullet points here. Number one, Alfaro collects another Infinity Stone. This man is only missing Colombia and Ecuador. If he gets those two, I mean, he has completed South American football with Paraguay, which is crazy. And I thought it was another strong performance from Paraguay and a terrible one from Uruguay. I got one stat here, and I'm going to let you go. Last 4 games away from home for Uruguay, 6 shots on target. In 360 minutes of football away from home, they have 6 shots. 3 of those were against Peru away, and they were ass in that game.
They got 5 shots on target at home in their last game. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's what you're putting up on the road. You look like Venezuela, Bolivia. That's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. I mean, Uruguay look unrecognizable. I was watching the game and I was like looking at it. I was like, is this the camera? I don't know what's going on here, but it just looked not like Uruguay. Unlike, I didn't even recognize the players' faces. There was no passion. There was no care. It looked like they didn't even want to be there. And
they're the faceless men from Game of Thrones.
Straight up, dude. No, but even then, those guys are cool.
Yeah, that's true.
What? Nothing about
they
this.
Have aura.
Every top knot in Uruguay should be shaved, should be cut off in disgrace. I'm talking Bushido. Cut the top knot. You're done. Dishonorable discharge of the top knots. Get rid of them. Buzz cuts for everybody. I don't care if you do the stupid blue hair that my guy has. All right? You're not Dibu Martinez. You're not.
No.
You're not even close. It's embarrassing. I mean, that might have been, I wrote it down right here. That may have been the worst game that I've seen from them. I was watching it and I was like, I don't know the last time that I watched a game this bad. I was just not having fun. It was brutal.
They took more points than Colombia this window, and I'm still way more bullish on Colombia. I don't care.
Oh, and you have to, well, dude, context matters. Love that. Love that right there. And we'll get into Colombia because I got a lot to say, but I want to give Paraguay their flowers. They're playing like they cannot believe how good they are. Like their faces are shocked while they're doing this. The fact that they're able to switch from I don't know how I'm doing this to being as locked in as they are is shocking to me. I mean, who was it? Gustavo Gomez with his like behind what I don't even know what that is. His bicycle save out of the box. When he got up, he was like, I don't know how it just did that. He had like the 1,000-yard stare. The man could not be more locked in. It was impossible. And conversely, Galarza, when he scored that goal, man's losing his mind. But his face running up to it, I mean, he was blooded. You want to talk about blooding players? This guy could smell it. He looked like a tiger shark coming in there. And if you want to know how the entire country of Paraguay feels, go right now to the Fanatiz highlight on YouTube. The 8-minute one, not the extended. Go to the 8-minute. They're both good. Go to the 8-minute one. The last 30 seconds are a slow-mo, full slow-mo, basically no cuts. And Ciso scores the penalty, runs over. They get the whole dance in slow-mo. All of his friends jump on him, and then there's this fat Paraguayan guy going. It is the most brilliant 30 seconds of editing I think I may have ever seen. It was phenomenal. No notes. No notes. Love Paraguay.
I think that's Paraguay. Team motto right now is locked in.
Locked in.
I think still Paraguay. You said Brazil is like the team that's trending up near the end and the only one. I was really thinking, I do think it's Paraguay as well. Like you have to.
Yeah.
Under Alfaro. But you're kind of right. That is it. If I'm looking around at everybody else, it's kind of like we're at the business end of qualifying. Some teams are already qualified. Everybody's tired after the season. It's getting a little ugly out there.
Yeah.
But Paraguay they've still maintained their level of performance.
Yes.
And I think you have to give Alfaro full credit for that as the manager.
I think they might even be taking it up. Not a notch, but a little bit. They look to have kicked it up. And when I say that they're feeling the effects, I don't mean that everybody's going down. A massive amount of teams are, but not everybody. There's definitely, I think the end of qualifying is affecting a lot of teams in a lot of different ways. But for Brazil, I'd attribute it more to maybe Ancelotti.
We'll get into that in a second. I want to talk very quickly on Peru 0, Colombia 0. I did watch this game. I think I was texting you while it was going on. I will die on this hill. It's not Lorenzo's fault. It is not Nestor Lorenzo's fault that Colombia are out of form like this. You have to keep him as the manager. If you want him sacked, I think you're a fool.
Yeah.
I got one stat for you here, Connor. 15 shots in this game. 0 on target for Colombia. They're credited with 0 big chances created. Why don't you go back and watch the last 15 minutes of that game and tell me there were no big chances for Colombia there? Now, maybe they didn't result in shots, but I consider having a 3-on-1 counterattack that leads to nothing as a big chance created. It just doesn't get registered because there was no shot, because Colombia were so incompetent, nobody shot the ball. I think the players have not been good enough, and it is an 80% on them. Lazy, missed chances. Some of these guys are terrible, man. John Duran was a freaking ghost. I think his hype train has completely derailed. Like, the train's fallen off the tracks and exploded. Did you see the report that he tried to punch James Rodriguez in the locker room after the game?
No. What?
Yeah. Apparently they swung at each other. They both missed. Lorenzo steps in the middle to break it up. And apparently John Duran, like, grabs Lorenzo, like, by the scuff of his shirt and, like, I don't know if he throws him off or slams him against the wall, but, like, that's your coach. And he did that. So Duran went from, like, this guy thinks he's like Carlos Veldrama or something. And it's like, homie, you just got here. You're not a legend of Colombia. Who do you think you are? Sit down. You're a rookie. You're still a rookie walking in acting like you're Terrell Owens or something. It's like, dude, you're a 3rd-round draft pick. Most people don't even know your name around here. Settle down. So I think Duran, side story, I was talking about this. I think Roberto I was talking this about. Shout out to him. We'll get him back on the channel soon. I was like, bro, ban him for a year. I don't want him seeing the selección for a year. You're going to put your hands on the manager and swing at the team captain?
Yeah. A year ban. That sounds
a year ban.
Good.
As the backup striker, you're going to swing on the... Nah.
The mismanagement that he and his team have done with his career is insane. From being, in my opinion, probably one of my most exciting prospects, if not the most exciting South American striker, newcomer to the table.
Definitely.
And now
striker, I would say.
moving to the Middle East and putting your hands on the coach and trying to punch the golden child of Colombian football, James Rodriguez. I mean, that guy's an angel. I don't care what he says about Argentina. I like him. He's a great guy. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You can't. And you know what? No. That hurts you and it hurts Colombia because, his hype train may be down, but the man is undeniably talented. He has it. Like that one curling shot from outside of the box that does end up going wide. But like just to see that, I remember being like, why? Why did he go? That would have gone in if he was playing top flight football.
But if he doesn't have the mentality, if he's a head case like this, it kind of reminds me of Kendrick Pies a little bit for Ecuador, where it's like, first off, he's like irrelevant now for the national team. He went from the greatest South American prospect to, he might not go to Chelsea anymore because he's not good enough in 18 months. Like, this is the danger of these guys being hyped up so young. And I think it's even worse in South America. I really do. And I think part of that is like you've inarguably won at life already. You've gotten a transfer to a big European club. Like unless you have like the greatest familial structure and support structure around you, like, deep respect for your parents, probably an older sibling or something to keep you in check, good friends who are going to keep you grounded, your career is going to derail because you're going to think you're God's gift to Earth. And you're not God's gift to Earth. You're a rotation guy now at your club. You're still the backup striker for your national team. You're swinging at your coach. I think the Duran thing is kind of like a separate thing. I think we can put that aside. That doesn't happen if things are good inside the player pool.
Yeah.
Like this is not the first time there's been a bust up inside the Colombian squad. And so if you want to say Lorenzo needs to keep the troops in order, sure. I think Duran is out. I wonder how much of that will be, how much of the drama and the kind of, mala vibras will be fixed because Duran is gone. But I swear, man, Lorenzo is still a good manager. He has to stick around. He's not responsible for these mistakes. He's not responsible for you guys not being able to score. John Arias was a disaster against Peru. He was a disaster. Cucho Hernandez did nothing. This one guy, I didn't even know who he was until this window, man. Hamilton Campaz might be the worst footballer I've ever seen in South America. He's the guy that effed up the 2-on-1. Go and watch the Colombian commentary of his miss. The announcer's literally saying, for the love of, like, please God, do it this time, is what he says. And then Campaz, instead of shooting at an open Peruvian goal, I mean, Gallese is there, but it's just him and the goalkeeper. He does a cross in the air to the other Colombian forward, I don't remember who it was, who was marked by a Peruvian center back, and the chance dies. And the announcer also basically dies on air, like, as the chance. It's just like an inexcusable play. And I know some people would be like, Jack can't face the music that Colombia are bad. They're not bad. They're still going to have a good World Cup. They're getting let down by bad luck, malcontents in the locker room, in moments of pure idiocy.
Ineptitude is what it feels like. And you know what? I'm gonna offer what I believe. I'm gonna try and diagnose this here. Okay? I'm gonna try and diagnose this. And I'm gonna get it a little bit into my thoughts for the Colombia for the Colombia-Argentina game. We're gonna talk about it just briefly. I'll save the majority of my thoughts for that later. But I don't want to just say that Colombia didn't score a goal this game because they're bad. Peru stepped up. This is one of the best Peruvian performances that I've seen in a minute, right? It was like
scored.
They should have scored. They got unlucky. They got unlucky. First of all, Advíncula, he's my go. God. He is the greatest footballer to ever set foot on a pitch. Messi, who, and I'm saying this as an Argentine, como un argentino pelotudo, Advíncula is the truth. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Okay, I'm
the Peruvian prophet.
He's the Peruvian prophet. Every time the camera would cut to him, I just heard the Lisan Al Gaib theme from Dune. It was like, boom, boom. I just couldn't. The guy is insane. He's incredible.
He was playing like he was 22 years old.
I was thinking that the whole time. I was like, how are you this old and still producing like this? Peru stepped up. Peru stepped up. And you know what? This is all to lead to say why I don't believe Colombia was able to make it happen. I think that they need better crisis management. And maybe you're spot on with the issues in the locker room. Maybe that translates to the field. They've got all this contention in the locker room, so they don't know how to handle it in the field as well. Because the second that the Peruvians get a little bit chippy, you watch the Colombian game plan sort of falter and halt. That's what Argentina did to them. That's what Peru did to them here. And the only time we saw an improvement was in the Colombia-Argentina game, this recent one, right? Where Colombia did that first. They said, we're going to take the dark arts, we're going to flip it on you. And Argentina faltered. But then near the end, Otamendi gets a little bit chippier. Colombia can't really handle it. When they face the music, they're just not able to. And maybe that speaks to their chemistry as a squad. Maybe there's something going on in the locker room, like you said, that's just irreparable, that they just can't rely on each other, so they don't trust or something. But they looked a little shaken in this game. which you can't have that at this point in qualifying.
Well, did you see what James also said something about the Barranquilla?
No.
He kind of called out the fans, kind of like what Pulisic did with the U.S. men's national team. He was like, everybody comes here and they just want to chill on their phone. Like, nobody's actually supporting the team. And I'm like, personally, talk your shit. If that's how you feel, call them out. Call out these TikTokers in the stands trying to get a zoom in of Richard Rios. Call them out. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm watching through the TV. Often I'm watching on mute anyways because I find like a Lithuanian stream or something. I don't know if the support is good, but if he feels that way, if he's like, hey, we don't like playing here because y'all suck, I think he has the right to say that. And the fans want to get mad, get mad. But like, hey, man, if he's like, dude, you guys are booing us the whole game. Kind of sounds like the Mexican national team a little bit, huh? I'm like, hey, you have the right to say that. If that's how you feel, you have the right to say that. But we should move on to other games for the sake of time.
Yeah.
I will conclude by saying I have yet to see a truly trash Colombian performance. Now, you want to compare that to Uruguay? Oh, I've seen some dead games. To act like Colombia and Uruguay are the same is disingenuous. Colombia are a better team than Uruguay.
Good word. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's move on to Venezuela 2, Bolivia 0.
Yep.
Must-win game for Venezuela here, and they did it. As soon as Rondon scores the second and 30th minute, it's over. Like, there's no universe in where Bolivia are down 2 goals away from home, and they come back. Also, we've talked about Maturin being an extremely tough place to play. I mean, Argentina couldn't win there. Uruguay couldn't win there. Brazil couldn't win there. You don't win in Maturin. Like, for not having the altitude buff that the Bolivians have, it's a terrifying away venue. And, like, those fans, probably top 3 in CONMEBOL, to be honest. I don't really have too many notes for this game because I thought that there was no chance Bolivia could ever do this. Venezuela are just too tough at home, and Bolivia are too bad at home. I just have that it's coming down to the final window for these two teams to decide who goes to the continental playoff. Venezuela on 18 points now, Bolivia on 17. Neither of them have easy games in the final window. Venezuela have Argentina away and then Colombia at home. And Bolivia have Colombia away, Brazil at home. These are like their hardest windows at the last gasp of qualification.
Saving the worst for last. That's why you got it. Yeah.
They could take 1 point each from the last window. Like, I wouldn't be stunned.
Correct. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Halfway through qualifying, when teams are messing up not easy windows, but easier windows, dropping points left and right in games that you should at least be tying at the bare minimum. And now look, it's test day and you didn't study. It is what it is. And it's not like you were out partying. It's not like you were investing it elsewhere in like social life, or it's not like you were hitting the gym all the time and doing that. No, you were doom scrolling on your phone. And now here we are, out of gas at the last grasp. Okay. I actually was watching this game kind of slack-jawed. I just couldn't really figure out what was going on. Weird first goal. It was reminiscent of, what was it, the Chilean keeper that like pulled his hamstring and the ball rolled in. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or no, that was against Chile, right? Do you remember what I'm talking about? Was that the Bolivian keeper again?
Yeah. That was the Bolivian goalkeeper. Yeah, he blew at his knee or something.
He did it again.
He got scores.
I don't know if they're different guys, but he did it again. That ball, it wasn't even that weird of a bounce. And maybe I just didn't watch it closely enough, but it like goes right by his arm and he's standing straight up. Like, that's a fully capable grown man that just let that go right by him. Very bizarre. I didn't like that. I was like, did somebody pay him for that? I don't know.
You think the Venezuelans have money to pay bribes?
No, listen, I don't know what it was. It was strange. And I don't know what it was so much that I started looking at medical reasons, okay? So I found something, and I did this at 7 o'clock this morning because I couldn't sleep. I woke up early, and I was like, you know what? This is eating away at me. I'm going to do some research.
You and me both.
I found something. Very rarely documented cases of this, mostly in Tibetan Sherpas. reverse altitude sickness, otherwise known as high altitude deacclimatization syndrome.
Okay.
Hot ass is what they call it.
Hot ass?
They played like hot ass. So, yes, that's what we're going to call it. Reverse altitude sickness is the only thing that I could chalk this up to.
Okay.
I don't know how you can play a game like this, how you can make a glaring mistake like that. I don't understand what it is.
Maybe you're onto something.
Coming down from the mountains, too much oxygen in your bloodstream leads to nausea, non-verbalism, right? Non-verbality. I don't even know how to say that, but non-responsiveness, right? Abdominal cramps. Yeah, just weird symptoms. I think that has to be it. There's no other explanation. I sound like a freaking conspiracy theorist at this point because that's what I was driven to during this game. Bizarre.
Well, it would explain some of Bolivia's performances away from home. Maybe they debuff so hard when they have to leave that, yeah, it's like actually affecting the mental aptitude of their players.
Yeah. I think
decision-making, reflexes, everything's going down. I mean, it's not impossible.
What's that paper test that they have to take at the NFL Combine? What's that thing called?
There's a paper test at the Combine?
Yeah, they do a paper test, and what's his name? Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly was like the highest scoring player ever on it. It's because he's just got knowledge of the game that's just insane. Long story short, I want to develop one of those for players, and I want to give the Bolivian team 45 minutes to complete it at home, and then 45 minutes to complete it at an away stadium. Doesn't matter the venue. I don't know. I just want to compare notes. I want to see what the tests are.
Yeah. That would be interesting. Because then you would measure mental decline.
Yeah. Why not? I don't know. That's what I was driven to. I'm sure you were all very enthralled by that last little bit of conversation. But that's where we're at right now.
Well, I mean, maybe we give CONMEBOL a phone call and we say, hey, we have an idea for this experiment we'd like to run. Could you provide us with the funding to get the Bolivian team down here? They might say yes, but they probably won't because that money's all gone. Let's talk about Ecuador 0, Brazil 0. I don't really know what to say about this game. I think this is going to be the shortest match summary that we talk about. Unfortunately, it was as boring as I feared. I got one stat here, and I'm going to close the book. How many goals do you think Ecuador have in qualifying against Colombia, Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay combined?
Oh, my God. I don't know. No clue.
So they played eight games, 3 goals scored for Ecuador in those 8 games. Less than half a goal a game against the best teams in CONMEBOL. It's not good enough, man. It's not good enough. This offense is trash.
I'll tell you what.
Bad.
That style of play will be incredible at the World Cup if you can make it out of the group.
Correct.
And with less than half a goal a game, you will not be making it out of the group.
Dude, it reminds me of the Copa, where it's like they take 5 points, barely score at all, scrape by Jamaica in a controversial style, and then they almost beat Argentina.
Yeah.
So it's like Ecuador, it just depends on what you want, man. If you just want advancement for the sake of advancement in a tournament, this is probably okay. Though you're just as likely to get grouped as you are to make the quarterfinal, which is really weird. If you want to see like good football, they're just not it. They're not it at all. I think they've maybe improved a little bit, but getting rid of Felix Sanchez and bringing in Becasese, I don't know what the huge tangible indicators are for, yes, this has improved a lot. I think he's maybe brought in one player who maybe is making a difference, but I mean, what is his big success? Beating Colombia with 10 men when Colombia again have 30 chances, 5 of them point blank and can't score? Is that a Becasese masterclass? Or is that Colombia can't finish? I kind of think it's Colombia can't finish. So you have these two teams, Ecuador, Paraguay, who kind of have like a similar foundation, but Paraguay are just so like infinitely more scary to me.
Yeah.
Than Ecuador.
They're dynamic.
They have to figure this out. They have to find a front three that can do something. They have to. They're not a bad team. The defense is cracked out, but I mean, and Moises Caicedo's, I think, probably been the best midfielder of qualifying, but that's not enough. They need something going the other way. Otherwise, they better hope that they score off set pieces and stuff at the Mundial, and that's going to be the way forward there.
That's a big ask. That's a big if. I mean, yeah, it's brutal. I think the teams kind of canceled each other out. There's been a small revitalization of the Brazilian offense. Not enough to supersede Ecuador's defense, and Ecuador's offense was never going to get past the Brazilians. So here we are, stalemate.
They needed a win here, man. I'll maintain that. They really needed a win. They got to start taking down the bigger teams. They're good enough to. That's the thing. They're more than good enough to have multiple wins against these guys. Just, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I hope they figure it out. They have talent there. Alan Minda's a good player. Jean Yeboah is a good player. They don't really have great players. Kevin Rodriguez is not a great player. And Valencia is not a great player. But it's not like Paraguay's front three. Let's not act like Sanabria is like the top goal scorer in Germany right now or something. Like, they have pretty tame talent as well. They're just getting more out of it. And I think Alfaro clears Becasese in a managerial contest. But anyways, just... yeah, I hope they figure it out before the World Cup, because they could really go far if they can start scoring at least one goal a game. They will be terrifying, but we haven't seen that yet.
Got to do your homework. Got to do your homework.
Bolivia 1, Chile 0. We're breaking into match day 16. Miguel Terceros again. Fun fact here, which this is incredible. He has more goals for Bolivia this cycle than he does in his entire career at club level. He has 6 goals for Bolivia this cycle. He's third in the goal-scoring chart in CONMEBOL, and he has 2 goals in his whole career in Brazil. In Serie B.
It's unreal.
Well.
Wow. Shout out.
He's a breakout star. He's a breakout star. I think I said this 6 months ago. He's got it on lock, man. It's him or Almada. Nobody else, I think, is even in the conversation.
Correct. I get behind that. That being said, I think it was still a brutal watch. Did you enjoy this?
No.
No.
No. What? Chile 10 men versus Bolivia 10 men? No. Didn't enjoy. And Chile suck. The goal was awful defending.
It was awful defending. I mean, he had his other player right next to him. I don't even know the guy's name, but they were like matched up. Thank God he took the shot there, because they were one step away from tripping over each other. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is ugly. I mean, it just goes right back to your point. Chile's got no center backs. He had 2 planks of wood sitting there. Frankly, 2 planks of wood.
Traffic cones.
2 traffic cones would have been better. A yield sign would have been better. And I don't even see those.
You know those things that they put up to like practice your free kicks, like the fake wall?
Yeah. Yep.
That would have helped out infinitely.
2 of those guys? 100%. 100%. And here we are. 2 red cards, 1 lucky goal, ugly goal later, and
huge
Bolivia,
points for Bolivia, though.
Bolivian fortune. Yeah, huge points. And what was it? Gareca watch is still going on. He sat, I think the one time the camera cuts to him, you see him like sitting inside of the dugout. Angry. Just mad. Man's given up.
Yeah.
He's not long.
Yeah.
He's not long. If they don't fire him, he's leaving.
100%. There's nothing for him to do here.
Nothing.
So you might as well bring in some local Chilean guy who's just gonna try his best. Chile were officially eliminated in this game. Another fact here, this is fascinating. Bolivia have 4 red cards in qualifying, which I believe is the most of any team. 3 of those 4 red cards have come in games at home, and they've won 2 of those games. Makes no sense.
They don't make sense. I'm telling you, I'm looking
yeah.
for medical explanations as to their behaviors on the pitch. That's what we've come to. None of the math is not adding up. I don't know what sort of Andean magic that they're conjuring up over there, but they have some cursed artifact that enables them to play out of their skin and break the laws of physics at home, but away, it just doesn't compute. It's a non-starter.
No. Still a travesty.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Uruguay finally win another game, 2-0 against Venezuela. I think it was a good win for Uruguay, honestly. I think Venezuela probably could have hoped and expected that maybe we can get a draw here, but it just doesn't end up happening for them. Aguirre scores again for Uruguay. I think he's got 2 or 3 goals this cycle. It's insane. And Arrascaeta also scores. He's known for not playing the best for the selección. Yeah. Yeah.
But he had
that'll quiet the haters for at least 24 hours.
Yeah. It's been 24 hours. We can get right back on it, but we got to get
right back on the hate train. Yeah. And Uruguay snapped their 3-game goalless streak in this match.
That's insane.
I think they needed this. They needed this bad, and they got it. Credit to them.
Halfway through the Copa America, if somebody had told you that Uruguay would go on a 3-game goalless streak, what would you have said?
I would have backhanded them for heresy.
Insolence.
Yeah. Bro, they were scoring 2 or 3 goals per game when Bielsa got here. They were the best team in CONMEBOL for 10 days.
And now fallen into abject
mediocrity.
Yeah. I mean, they got a little bit. I saw a little bit of life here in this game, but it was uninspiring. If you want to look at you stats guy, I had to look at the stats for this one. It was an uninspiring game. They had almost an equivalent stat line to their game against Canada, the 3rd place game in the Copa America.
Interesting.
I think they had like 12 shots, 5 on target in this game, whereas they had 6 on target against Canada. And this is them taking a step up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, they had moments of class, but they're just not up to their standard. They're not.
I mean, that's terrifying if Uruguay are now like getting back to the standard that was set in that 3rd place game, because they were terrible.
They were terrible. That was the beginning of the end. And this is the first time that they're getting back there. Not the first time. Like there are games that are just not coming to mind, but I don't know. I was sad watching that game.
I just don't know what they're gonna do. I think the hope for Uruguay is they just channel their ancestors from the 1930s and make the quarterfinals. But it's really hard to find a an intangible. It's hard to find a real tangible thing they can do versus like they can meditate, they can eat more vegetables, they can start a book club together. Like, it's really hard to talk about actual changes that could happen, especially under Bielsa, that's going to turn them around. Speaking about managers turning things around, though, Brazil did beat Paraguay 1-0 at home. This is Alfaro's first loss as Paraguay manager. And I think you could look at this 2 ways. You could be like, Ancelotti has maybe not validated his appointment completely, but certainly it's like, okay, we're bought in now. Or you could be like, oh, it's Paraguay, so Brazil should be winning at home. I kind of feel like this is a big freaking deal that Brazil won this game and won it convincingly as well. They made Paraguay look like the old Paraguay a little bit.
Paraguay looked out of sorts. They looked out of sorts. That locked-in focus, it wasn't there. It wasn't omnipresent.
They were getting cut up out wide.
Yeah, they were. Completely. And I mean, if you look at the Brazilian talent, you're like, okay, this is what should have been happening all of qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God Ancelotti got there. Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, he even, Vinicius scored. That's a big deal. I think the announcer in the game that I was watching he said something. He was like, Vinicius in front of the goal does not miss. And I was like, brother, he does.
Yeah,
I think it's
that's
a
a
big
blatant
deal.
lie.
That's a
Yeah.
blatant lie. This man does
Yeah.
not watch ball. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked that the pass came from Cunha. Shout out.
Cunha, what, his second goal involvement since he returned to the squad after like a year out?
My man.
I think he's had a great impact.
Yeah.
Gotta find a way to fit him in there. He's got like a unique kind of like play style where he can play centrally, where Brazil needs a bit of creativity. That's kind of where the Neymar hole is right now in the squad. And I think Cunha isn't prime Neymar, but he's good enough to create threatening chances for Brazil. And yeah, Paraguay they just got beat up here. There were several one-on-ones that Brazil could have scored. You know, the clinical 9 is just something that we'll probably never see again in the Brazilian national team. But if they're going to create this many good chances like this, they're going to win games and they're going to be scary again. So I think Brazilians should be very encouraged by this.
Yeah, they're getting their get back. And I would attribute that to the new manager bounce. This window out of the way going forward, like you said, I think they're a little bit bought in. Now we can start to build on in the last final window of qualifying. We can have that end of the season bounce that we're really expecting, you know?
Yeah.
I also just got to say, Cunha, if he's able to like coincide his implementation of the Brazilian national team and their ascent back to form, and then Man United's decent next year too, get ready because I'm just gonna start to hate him with how much they're going to be talking about him. Sky Sports is going to throw themselves at this man. He could become the face of the Prem next year.
With all the advertising they're going to be running?
Probably. With all the advertising, yeah. I mean, if this man gets 10 goals, they're going to talk about him like he's the second coming. And the greatest footballer to ever live, Advíncula, is going to be completely thrown to the wayside.
Yeah.
There's no justice in football, Jack. There's no justice in football.
No, and the Prem tax is crazy.
Yep.
Let's talk about Peru 0, Ecuador 0. This was an interesting game here.
Yeah.
I think both teams could be pissed that they didn't win. I think Peru, I had big chances written down here. This is just my big chances, not from any data set. I thought it was 3-2 in favor of Peru. I thought they had better big chances in this game. Couple point blank headers, great saves by both keepers in this game. I think they were probably, man of the match. Just give it to both of them.
Yeah.
Interesting game here because I think the Ecuadorians can be really annoyed that they didn't win. And the Peruvians, maybe they could be annoyed that they played so well this window and got 2 points. Like they probably deserved to win against either Ecuador or Colombia. So I feel like this is one of those, it's just a wash. Nobody's really happy. Everybody's probably mildly annoyed. Would you say that's fair?
I'd say that's fair. I didn't really have much to say about this. Gajese, one of the most criminally underrated keepers. Man. I mean, that man could have been a club legend somewhere. Yeah, he's too good for the MLS. El Pulpo. I love him.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and Advíncula, how they didn't have like 10 years at a top Champions League fighting side in Europe is crazy to me. At least Europa League,
insane.
For the love of God.
Yeah.
I mean, bro.
Especially with the advent of fullbacks, I don't know how he's not there.
I just age. I just feel like he missed the window. I mean, he was playing in Spain for a while, and he was good over there. He was a good fullback in Spain, but Galles is a weird one with all the years spent in MLS. I don't understand that.
How no attention ever went to him? I don't know.
I don't get it. Him and Andre Blake are the two MLS lifers that I'm just like, how did nobody, even like a Brazilian club, I'm shocked they didn't Corinthians call him up and be like, dude, we're tired of this guy kicking our asses and qualifying. Let's get Galles in here.
Let's get him. Yeah, especially because that's a tenured national team player with excellent national team performances.
Yes.
Nobody thought to give him a call?
I don't know.
Maybe his baby mom was American. It is what it is.
Maybe he was like the 5th highest paid player in MLS. And just nobody could compete with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something's going on here. Something has to be going on here to explain this. I have a couple things I want to talk about from this game. Number one, Connor, do you know which team has the most 0-0 draws in qualifying so far?
Is it Ecuador?
It is Ecuador. Do you know how many 0-0 draws out of 16 games they have?
6?
7. Do you know who has the second most 0-0 draws in qualifying this cycle?
Is it Peru?
It's a 3-way tie involving Peru. So Ecuador have 7 0-0s out of 16 games. That is the most in CONMEBOL by far. In second place, Peru, Paraguay, and Uruguay are all tied with 4. Wow. So Ecuador almost have double the 0-0 draws of the second team. And I think that's the problem. That's the problem, folks. Dude, they're getting a 0-0 draw almost 50% of the time. This goes back to what we just said. You have 3 games in the group. If you have a 50% likelihood of a 0-0 draw, you're going to get 1 0-0 draw guaranteed in the group stage. Yeah. You might even get 2, and God help you if you don't win that final game. That's the problem here. They're playing with fire.
That's the last place you want to be. That's the last place you want to be. You're leaving it up to fate at this point. You got to figure out the strikers. I don't care. Start bringing up guys. Start just throw random dudes in there. First guy to score a brace, sign him. Bring him up. Give him the cleats. Give him everything. Doesn't matter. You've got the defense. You're good. Figure it out. Because I will be heartbroken when I see all the European jerseys walking around here in the United States talking about how trash Ecuador is because they got 2 draws and a loss. Or God forbid, 3 draws. God forbid, 3 draws. And another team goes through with 1 win, and they beat them on goal differential. Can you imagine? 2 losses and a win, and they beat them on goal differential? I'll throw up.
Yeah, I'll be fuming, dude. I'll be fuming. Because they're better now than they were in 2022 in terms of talent, 100%. Because everybody was a kid, basically, back then. Now they're still very young, but they're all 23, 22, something like that. You got to get it going, man.
You got to.
They're in a real jeopardy of having 2 amazing draws at the World Cup, right? Playing England to a 0-0. Playing Spain to a 0-0 in the opening game, and everyone's like, oh my God, Ecuador are going to make the final. And then
we're going to be sitting here. We're going to be sitting here like this.
Yeah.
We could see it coming.
Because they're then going to draw Honduras, and they're going to draw Saudi Arabia. Finish on 3 points, and Spain and Saudi Arabia are going to go through. And we're going to be like, what just happened? That's my nightmare that I have recurring.
Yeah.
This is not like a dark or like smoking hot take. I think it's frighteningly realistic. I have a sad stat here for Peru.
Let's hear it.
You ready for this one? After 16 games, Peru is the only team that does not have a single player with more than 1 goal scored. Everybody else has 1 player with at least multiple goals. Even Chile have multiple players with more than 1 goal, actually. Vargas and I can't remember who else. Peru have 6 goals scored through 16 games. Their center backs are tied for their top goal scorer currently. It's not good.
No, it's not good. It's not good. I mean, I said earlier that Peru took a step up. Chile took another step back, but it's not enough. It's not enough. A step up from rock bottom or rock bottom adjacent still puts you way too close to the dirt.
It's a tough place for Peru because they had, dude, maybe their best window. In terms of like performances, I don't know why I didn't start the second. It might have been their best window.
Yeah.
And they walk out with 2 points. And now if they do not take 6 in the final window and probably some other BS, like Bolivia have to lose both games. Venezuela probably have to lose both games. They're eliminated. So it's kind of harsh for Peru right now. I feel like they, unlike Chile, I feel like they kept the fight alive as long as possible. And it just, again, for lack of talent, it's not going to be enough.
Right. What a way for my goat to go out. It's tragic.
Yeah. I mean, he did his part.
He did his part. He did it. He's carrying the group project on his back. And he's still going to get maybe a 65. Still going to get a
6. I was literally about to say a 65. You're about to get a 65. But maybe Peru will do it. You know, we've seen miracles before.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up though with Argentina 1, Colombia 1. So you did the live stream for this. I was at the game. I can talk about that if you want to. I mean, I could. Let me just say, Argentine infrastructure never fails to disappoint me. I just want to say crazy stat before we dissect this game. Colombia took 4 points against Argentina in qualifying. Nobody else has taken 4 points, and yet they're in 6th place. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Listen, you get up for Argentina. A lot of teams get up for Argentina.
Did you think Colombia were bad?
No. I thought they were good.
Okay.
This is a Colombia that we haven't seen since the Copa America.
I thought they looked really good. They
looked really good. Well, they got in there and they punched Argentina in the mouth. Argentina was, I mean, you saw a little bit of that arrogance peeking through at the beginning. That first half was scary. That was scary.
Dude, the Colombian fans were louder than the Argentine fans for parts of the first half. And like they would start chanting and then like the Argentines would whistle super loud to like drown them out. But the Colombians were hype, man. And I thought they played defensively so well.
Yeah.
So well.
They looked solid.
What was your reaction when Luis Diaz scored?
I don't remember. We probably have to. We could go back and watch the the tape.
Yeah,
but
it is on. Dude, it is on the internet. We can find it.
I think I just had like 1,000-yard stare. It was beautiful. That was a beautiful goal.
Beautiful goal. I'll be honest.
I did say this live on stream. I believe I said this. No, there are maybe a handful of players that can make Cuti turn in the way that he did. Now, he's not a fullback, granted. That's still one of the best center backs in the world right now. World-class center back right there. Correct. The way that he made him turn, you don't see that. You don't see that. I mean, he looked like the Dutch defenders against Argentina. It was shocking. That was credit to Lucho because he diced them up.
I remember it happened, and I was like, I don't think I've seen Cuti get cooked like that maybe ever. Like Diaz, man, when he got the ball, I remember I was like, here we go, like Diaz versus Cuti. And bro, he made it look easy. Otamendi was kind of there as well, like kind of tried to play help at the end, but he was probably too far away. Great shot from Diaz. And I think he's just doing this when he scores. If I remember, I think that was his celebration. And I'm like, because I'm surrounded by Argentines. No, I mean, the Colombians explode in the corner. I'm looking around. I'm like, that was a phenomenal fucking goal.
You're looking around at a bunch of Bernards, and they're just like,
yeah. The Argentines are like, and I'm like, que golazo. What the and I'm like, keep your voice down. I'm like, that was incredible. It was such a good goal. Did you know Luis Diaz is the top goal scorer of qualifying?
No, I didn't know that.
He's the top goal scorer, dude.
How many does he have?
7. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
No, that's not pretty good.
That's damn good.
That's good. That's damn good. Shout out my boy Darwin Nunez. Think he could still break that goal record?
Let's see. Where is he? Oh, Suarez one? No, that one is return to the ice beneath the Arctic.
Not just the ice. Man's sitting in Superman's cave.
Yeah, Darwin been sitting on 5 for half a year.
Oh, God. Oh, man. I don't want to talk about Uruguay anymore. But let's keep going on this Argentina Colombia game. Yeah, that was insanity. But can we take it back to what I said about Colombia? When they were getting chippy with Argentina and it was on their terms, it was good. They had Argentina on the back foot. It was a very nerve-wracking game. Just their transition from defense, that excellent defense that they played all the way up to offense was just awesome. Those counters were scary. They were electric.
Yeah.
Argentina, I think you got to give them some credit. I know that they didn't play their best in this game. I think Colombia had them, but credit to them for sticking with it. I mean, Messi had 2 brilliant opportunities that he gave straight to, who was it? It was Nico Gonzalez and was it Alvarez? Or was it to Simeone?
Giuliano. I think it was Giuliano for the second one, where he shoots and it hits the side net.
Yeah.
I think that's Giuliano.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 incredible opportunities, and then he takes the onus and says, you know what? I'm not doing him any favors. Take me out. And lo and behold, an Almada assist later. Here we go.
Dude, Almada, let me tell you, the streets of Buenos Aires are starting to talk about him.
Good.
You're hearing the name now in the shadows, in the alleyways.
As you should. As you should.
I mean, let's not forget the banger he had against Uruguay when y'all beat them 1-0. Dude, I'm like, Nico Gonzalez who? Simeone who?
Yeah, look, if they're not taking the opportunity, plant the flag, brother. Plant the flag. Let them know. I want to talk about an assertive break onto the scene. This guy is undeniable. I was terrified on the stream when they were making substitutions. I thought he was coming out. They kept him in. What a stud. What an absolute
dude. I think he's leapfrogged Garnacho 100%.
Yeah. Well, Garnacho's been playing in an absolute vacuum over at Manchester United. The man's confidence is shattered. Send him to play with Anthony, and the guy's going to flourish. We haven't seen the last.
Oh, he'd cook in La Liga. Garnacho would cook in La Liga. That's a great league for him to go to.
Give him an opportunity.
I remember we were in the taxi coming back from the game, and that some commentator on the radio was like, "Cuando DeadBall juega bien, Argentina juega bien." And today, or that day, I guess, DeadBall was very average. I mean, of course, y'all know I'm the biggest DeadBall fan ever, so getting to see him was freaking cool. I thought defensively he was doing his job, but his kind of trademarked passing was not present at all. The touches were a little heavy. He was leading his passes too hard. And I think he was right to pull him. And I think Argentina were better in the second half.
And you know who picked up the slack there? Was Paredes. Paredes had a game. My man was picking up the slack from Otamendi because Otamendi was not good in the first half. And DeadBall. That guy, I mean, I started to miss McAllister, but there in the second, I was like, all right. This guy got down to business.
I didn't think Enzo was that good. What did you think?
No. He had that one opportunity, and there were a couple moments, but you just didn't see. You're still not seeing him as what he was marketed as he was going to become. He's not hitting that stride, and maybe next season he'll be able to find something with Chelsea. But I don't know. I think Enzo plays better when McAllister's on the field, and he wasn't, so he didn't. Now there were a couple opportunities, but put the ball away. Put the ball away. Do something. Give me results. Otherwise, it's a bunch of almosts. And I'm not giving credit to Simeone for that. So why should Enzo be any different? just because he's a massive price tag at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I can't.
I think my last couple thoughts in the game, I thought Richard Rios was really good defensively as well. Like, when you see the game in person, you can see, like, how hard they foul Messi. And, like, he would foul him, step over him, and then kind of, like, push him a little bit. And just, like little mind games here and there, like, you know, like, I'm on that ass type thing. I thought Rios had a good game.
Dude,
I thought
Mini
Davinson
DeadBall.
Sanchez had a good game. Okay, what do you think about Colombia's goal? Because I'm in the stadium. John Lucumi makes a sliding, I think it's an interception. It's really good.
Yeah.
He stays down with a hamstring injury. Now, from what I saw, the Colombians kind of stopped playing for a split second. And the ref puts his hands up like this. But he doesn't call the whistle because before he calls the whistle, Argentina have one pass to the middle of the pitch. It's a shot. It's a goal. And immediately the Colombians like swarm the ref. Lorenzo like runs out on the pitch. Like they're furious. And I was sitting there and I was like, damn, it feels really unfair that Colombia conceded that way. But like, why did y'all stop playing? But also like, ref, why are you putting your hands up? I thought it was a weird, opportunistic goal for Argentina. What was your thought when you were watching it?
I understand where you're coming from. I really do, because I tried my absolute hardest, and I don't dislike Colombia. I don't.
You were trying to be objective.
I was trying to be objective, which is very big for me when it comes to Argentina. Okay,
that is. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
drop a like on the video.
Colombia, drop a like on the video for me.
We're an hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and 20 minutes in, and that's the one. They said, "Wow, Connor has more than one brain cell. Outstanding." But I think that I would be comfortable saying that that was unfair. And don't get me wrong. If it was unfair and we scored the goal, I'm screaming it all the same. I don't give a damn. If we get lucky, we get lucky. So don't think I'm getting up on a moral high horse right here. Absolutely not. I'll take anything.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I just want that out there for the viewers. I would be willing to concede that. Totally fine with it. However, the amount of coverage that was on these guys and the way that that goal went in, no, that was earned. That was earned. Maybe there was a split second, but the amount of traffic that was in that box and the way that that rolled right past the keeper's hand. I mean, we're talking a game of inches here.
It's a great
and
shot.
An inch matters. Yeah. I mean,
pinpoint.
There were a lot of nice goals this window. It wasn't an incredible window for goals. There were some really nice ones. I'm biased, obviously. I think that was the best. Rolling on the ground like that, it was
I think it was Diaz's goal just because of what he had to do.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah.
It was so good. Yeah. I was like, bro, this man's world class. I was like, oh my God, dude. No, you're right. I thought it made no sense that the Colombians stopped playing. I thought on their part that was lazy and cheap. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, do you really expect Argentina to just stop playing at home? No, of course not. Like, close them out. I thought it was dumb on their part. I don't think it was like like y'all robbed them or anything. I don't think that at all. I just thought it was a weird, like 2 seconds leading up to the goal.
Correct. It's strange. It's chaotic. You misinterpret things. Don't stop. The reason they were so good in the first half is because they weren't wavering at any signs like that. The game was being played on their terms. The second that they fall back on the referee and that comfortability, you cannot do that. They're in their little box. They're saying, okay, Argentina's got 10 men. This isn't happening. No shot, no way. They've already got 10 men. Why are you calling for more pens? Why are you calling for not pens? Why are you calling for more fouls? Why are you calling for anything? You don't need any more cards. Fall back. You've got numbers. If one guy doesn't take that hesitation, one more guy's in the box, which there were already plenty. One more guy could have changed that. But no, you're going to sit there. You're going to take your little half-second, quarter-second stutter step. That's all he needs. I mean, I just said how much that distance mattered. It's 1 inch. 1 inch for the goalkeeper's hands, and that ball's tipped. I don't know. That to me smacks of that sort of off-kilter, on the back foot mentality that Colombia has whenever you put them there. And, I mean, you could see it whenever Richard Rios and Otamendi had that little bust up right there. I was like, that's a spark of life for Argentina. Don't give them that. Don't give them that. Don't give us that. We will take it and run with it. And we did. All of a sudden, we look like the better team. We are the better team, and we're a man down. And that's all it takes.
And that's why I've said it 15 times. I'll say it one more. Is that Lorenzo's fault?
No.
That the Colombians stopped playing for a second? I thought he set up Colombia perfectly.
He did. He did. Yeah. Against who I think we could start saying this, tactical mastermind Scaloni.
Yeah.
You got to be perfect to do that. You got to be perfect to do that. And he did it.
And he pretty much was. He pretty much was. Colombia make another mistake, and they drop 2 points.
And this is after a locker room bust-up.
Yeah.
So if anything, I would say you have to give the man credit for putting them in that position. At this point, during qualifying, following, a disgraceful exit by John Duran, you got to give the man credit. He's doing everything and more. Colombia better end the next window with 6 points. They better. Otherwise, you're doing your manager an injustice.
They already have.
They already
by putting his name in the he should be sacked conversation. They already have.
Absolutely not. Absolutely,
I think it'd be a terrible mistake if they did that.
And you know what? I don't think there's anything coming back. There's no coming back from that. You sack this man, the personality's going to be gone. The locker room already is hotly contested as it is. God forbid the next manager brings in Duran. You're done. You're not coming back from that. James Rodriguez is on his way out. No, not happening.
I mean, we'll see. The Colombians are pretty adamant that they need somebody else, but I just haven't been bought into that at all. Guys, we've been going for a while here, hour and a half, damn near, talking about CONMEBOL. So I will say this won't be the last CONMEBOL video on the channel. We're going to try to assemble the South American adventures again to talk about some more like specific in-depth storylines, kind of like what we did on the channel a couple months ago. You can find that in our CONMEBOL playlist. If you guys want to see that, make sure you're letting us know down below in the comments. If there's a specific topic as well that you would like to hear Connor and I talk about, like Carlo Ancelotti at Brazil or Ecuador's goal scoring issues, and really do like a more fleshed out video, also let us know down below. If you're listening on streaming platforms, please give the podcast a 5-star rating. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you've already smashed the like button and you've hit subscribe so you don't miss future CONMEBOL videos here on the channel. We appreciate you guys for watching or listening, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.